Hi, and thanks so much for joining me for the Chanel One Eye, One Cheek, One Lip. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. So in today's One Eye, One Cheek, One Lip, if I have a blush that I've had in the past, okay, that makes sense. There is a blush that I want to try again in the new formula. I will pick up the new one and also compare it with the old one. So in this case, it's in Love, number 55. So I'm going to show you those side by side as well as put this look together. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now that I have on everything, should we do the eye or should we do the cheek first? Maybe let's do the cheek first just so we can see exactly what the difference is. I have in Love the older version and then I have in Love the newer version. And looking at them, this one looks pinker than this one. This one definitely looks warmer. So let me swatch them here for you really quickly. The older version also looks like it has more shimmer in it, just looking at it here. They actually feel similar though. They're kind of like on the drier side. This is the older in Love, and then this is a newer in Love. So it's pinker, the older version, and the newer version looks more warm. So I'm gonna try them side by side as well. I do have two of the exact same brush. My Ray Morris Mini Kabuki brushes. I love these, especially for blush. Well, that's what they're for. I especially love that they pick up pigment really well. Here is the new versus the older version. Okay, they don't look that different on the brush. We'll see once I get them on. This is the older version. Definitely looks pink once it's on me. And I can see it's got a golden shimmer to it. Actually, kind of like a turtle seed, no. What was it? B by Chantecaille has a beautiful golden tone. Let me swatch these next to B as well because now it's reminding me of that. But I'm bringing it all the way up to the front. There's distinct shimmer in here though. It's not as fine as something like B, but there's a gold in there. That's a really pretty blush. I really like that one. If the particles are just a tad larger, you would definitely be able to see individual particles, but it's just barely there. So let's go ahead with the new in Love, the same style of brush, but a totally different brush. This looks pinker on than it does in here. And it doesn't have that same glow, the same level of glow to it that this doesn't have the same level of glow to this. I think you can see in the light, yeah. So it's a little bit more matte, which I like. Now there is a very faint golden. This one is more like B, and I'm really curious. I'm gonna have to swatch B. Oh, I went a little bit high on the blush, but that's okay. And I'm able to bring this one up to the front without a problem. So because it doesn't have the distinct particles that this does, it's easier to bring up front. So that's a win for me. But I do like the glow of this one. So it's definitely a little bit different. See, where is B? So I have B by Chantecaille right here. In Love, and here's B. Oh yeah, different. This one's a lot more corally. So let's see. This is B next to these two in Love. You can see not the same, much lighter. So I'm glad I did that. Let's leave it there for now. Let's see how it settles in. I know I covered a lot of real estate there with the blush, but I do just want to see, we'll fix it in a little bit. But let's go in with the eye and just kind of watch the blushes, but you can see how this older in Love catches the light more than this does. Interesting. I do like this though, but there is still a glow. Still, it's much more fine though. Yeah, I really feel like trying them on side by side gives a good indication of the difference. I can see myself wearing this newer one more than the older one because it is, like as it's settling in, it's bringing out more texture in the front versus the new one. So we're gonna go in with the Blurry Blue palette, and let's just start with this lightest shade. And I love, love, love their cooler. I'm so into cool tones right now. So this is actually like a bluish gray, isn't it? Okay, I would love this as a one and done. I think that would be beautiful. So you can definitely go in so many opportunities for one and dones here. So actually, let's take this underneath and let's make this a one and done, and then let's build. So for the one and done fans, we're gonna do this first as a one and done, and then we'll add, just because I know not everyone likes to use all 4 colors, although when I'm trying out the palette, I do want to try all 4 together. So we'll build. The new Gris Graphite, I think that will be perfect with this, right above the lash line, and then some mascara. And then we'll tightline with Chantecaille's Slate, and then let's see how we look from there, and then we're gonna build. I also applied Gris Graphite in the waterline just because I thought it was a nice, soft, cool eyeliner. It's more like a silvery gray than a gray. So I thought we would go in with a little bit more of that color right underneath. I'm gonna take my Sonia G brush, and usually I use this for the inner corner, but I'm gonna use it right here just to build that a little bit. And this is this lightest shade right here that I started with. We're still just on this shade right here. And then I want to take a little bit of a fluffy brush, but taper it at the same time. So I'm going to take this one, the Wayne Goss number 19. This is the one I brought to Hawaii with me, the only one, because it gets really nicely into the crease here without blowing it out too much, because I like it a little bit more focused. So if you have smaller eyes like I do, these Wayne Goss brushes are great. I use these pretty much in every video. Let me know if there's another eye set that you think I should grab, but these are really soft, easy to use. It just makes application so much easier. Yeah, I used to dread eyeshadows because I had such a hard time with them, but it's because my brushes were too large for my eye area. Okay, I'm just gonna take this. So with the right brushes, it's so much easier. Let's take a little bit of the Clé de Peau. Will probably go in with this again, just to clean up the edges here. But that's my little trick with this Clé de Peau. Just solves a lot of issues and also helps with the blending of the edges here. And I realized I forgot my La Prairie. So let's go in with La Prairie in that darkest, just that darkest part of the eye, right underneath. Very targeted. Right here. Yeah, I forget this because I have not been using this. I used the Chantecaille one in Hawaii, so I forgot kind of about using this, but I still love this. So yeah, I just went in with Gris Graphite really finely along the lash line, Slate, tight lined, and then again the mascara. So that's how we got here. But I do want to go in with more of these shades. So you can do a one and done. We're gonna go in with this though, right along the crease. It's got a little bit of warmth, but it still looks pretty gray. So it's, I don't know what kind of gray this is, but there's definitely some brown in here. But I think that's such a beautiful one. I don't have anything like this for the crease. It's matte, actually. I think these are all matte. There's a little bit of sheen maybe, so not totally matte, but very fine. There's nothing detectable in there in terms of any shimmer. It's just gonna give a really nice kind of glow to the finish, but definitely not shimmery. Taking 6.5 Ray Morris, and my husband is on the roof. I told him to get my help when he goes on the roof. Let me go check on him. Let's go in on the corner, the outer corner with this deepest gray, and it's got a little bit of, I think, green in there. So it's definitely a cool gray. So you have a warm gray next to a cool gray. We're gonna go right on the outer corner here with that. And I think that the blush, the warm blush, is a perfect pairing with this because this is very cool. Ooh, that is beautiful. It's right there. Quickly intensified. You can see where I just added it. Of course, we'll blend it, but it really intensifies the look even though it's just right here on the corner, intensifying. I love this. What a pretty palette. Okay, let's go in with this. I love that it's a cool, smoky eye. Just blending these together. So let me know what you think of this if you have it, but so far, really quite easy to use. We're gonna go in with this blue shade now. And usually I will just take my clean hands and I will place it right in between the deepest shade and the first shade that I applied. So this is going to be interesting to see if this is patchy or not, because sometimes I find that with these kinds of colors. So there's the blue. Beautiful. Let's go in with the other shade, the first one that I put. Let's take another brush. I'm gonna just blend them together. So I'm gonna go back into this original, not the original, but the first shade. And I'm going to apply it kind of on top of that transition between the two, just to blend a little bit better. Actually, let me just do a wash over the whole thing. I love there's a bit of green in the blue as well. So really interesting blend of gray tones. And it's funny, it's called a blurry blue because I feel like most of them are gray except for that one blue shade. And I don't have much lid space, but I am able to fit all of them on here. I'm just gonna take this and blend a little bit more. I'm gonna take a little bit of the other shade here. I'm gonna take my eyeliner brush, this one by Chantecaille. I'm gonna dip it in this blue shade. It's almost like a teal. It's not quite teal, but there's enough green in it. But there is quite a bit of green there. So I'm just gonna dot that along the outer lash line right here. I'm gonna go right along the lash line as well on top. And just press. Okay, I just also darkened my brows just a little bit because I think I either rubbed them off or they weren't dark enough. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the blur powder, the lighter of the two. I'm just gonna use that to blend up here a bit. Doesn't need much blending, but I just wanna soften that. So there's the difference. It just kind of blurs it out a little bit. Let's go in with the lip and then we'll even out the blush shades. I have one of the new Rouge Lax. Okay, it's Beige Confidential because I can't really see the number, but I'll list it below for you. It's got some warmth to it, which will go really nicely with the blush. I like this formula, and this one has some, again, some warmth to it compared to, say, Exigence, which has a cool tone to it. So the finished look here, I did even out the blushes and then I kind of blended that blue a little bit better on the top, if you notice a bit of a difference. But I wanted to go in the fragrance that I chose. This is Whispers of Truth Noir. This is the first in the series that included a leather note, and there's a spiciness. Let me just spray this again. This one has more Swarovski crystals on top. I think there are 200 on this one. The price point's higher on this as well than the other two in the series. But there is a nice warm spice to this. So I think that's what makes this one so rich, is that spice, but there is a clear leather note on this as well. I thought this would be a perfect one because we are going out to dinner. I know this is more casual, but if you go like this, this is an older dress as well from J. Crew that I picked up. It has become a staple as well. I'll see if I can find anything that's like it, but you can wear it like this or on the shoulder, off the shoulder. It's really soft too, it's like a chambray. But I think this fragrance is just pretty, it's sophisticated, kind of like this blue eye. I also evened out the blush. So I took the New in Love, this one, and added it to this side and intensified it a little bit more on that side so it's more even. But you can see the difference here. Even though it looks like it's going to be much brighter, it's not that much brighter. I would say it's not that much warmer. I do prefer that it doesn't have the same degree of shimmer in it though, because I love the glow, but this one, as I wore it, became a little bit more evident in terms of the texture. So it brought out that texture as I wore it. So I really like this because it is more matte, but it still has a glow. Really pretty. So I see this as a base product for me in terms of adding on an additional blush when I layer blushes. This might be the first one to go down. So we'll see how I wear this, but I can see this being a favorite very quickly. Then for the Blurry Blue palette, I really liked it. Now when I looked at playback, because I check sometimes before I do the intro and outro. It did need a little bit of evening out here on the top, so I added a little bit more of this, and then I blended it with this, and then I also pulled this underneath a little bit more, so that's why it looks probably a little bit more intensified. But I think this is perfect for the person who wants to try a blue palette but still wants to keep it quite sophisticated. There are lots of blue palettes out there that I think are quite fun. I wouldn't categorize this as a fun blue, very sophisticated though. So you could also go in like I did, one and dones here. I think that might be pretty. I think this might be, actually these two by themselves and then using this as a liner might be really interesting. So I might have to try that. But I loved how they worked together. And it is funny that it's called the blurry blue because I don't see those as blues, but once you add that, you definitely call this a blue palette because that's what I see standing out is the blue. Takes just a little bit of work to blend them because they are quite distinct once you add them on. So just take the time to blend. In fact, I probably could blend a little bit better, but I think for now it looks okay. And then the lip, the Rouge Allure Lac. I think this is a really pretty one. It's nice and warm. The other two that I have are more on the cool side. I'm not sure how much I'll wear this particular shade, but I think it works really well with the overall look. So I was pleased with the way everything came together. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.